Hello everyone. Today I decided to try a new kind of series, hopefully. I've been really into true crime lately, so I decided to look up a true crime case and talk about it on here. I decided to do pictures instead of a visual because I thought it would be rather uninteresting to just watch me reading off of something. So I'm going to add a little bit of commentary, and I'm also going to read snippets from an article, and I will put the link to the article down below so that it's not me just reading off the article, and you can also look at more information yourself. But let's get started. So this first episode, we are going to dive into someone I have never heard of before. His name was Charles Thurman Sinclair, also known as the Coin Shop Killer. He was born on November 24th, 1946, and died October 3rd, 1990. And this is a quote from one of the police officers investing his case. "We all felt Sinclair was a serial killer of the same stature of Ted Bundy. He went by aliases such as Jim Stockton and J.C. Weir, W-E-I-R. So let's get started on some of the quotes. Rare and antique coins can fetch a hefty price from dealers. Over the period of a decade, from 1980 to 1990, a vicious and unscrupulous killer targeted coin shops throughout the western states of America, shooting to death coin dealers and shop owners, and stealing thousands of dollars worth of rare coins. These unsolved murders were being investigated by each state as separate incidents, until a survivor was able to give a description of the killer, which offered enough of a link between the crimes." So as I read this, it was really interesting to read about how he would scope out a shop and then basically kill anybody that was in his way when he tried to steal these coins that he could then sell for a profit. In April and May 1990, Legacy Rare Coins in Murray, Utah was over the course of several days frequented by a polite Texan who said he wanted to invest in some coins. At closing time on May 4th, the co-owner, 29-year-old Kelly Figan, I think that's how you pronounce it, F-I-N-N-E-G-A-N, was putting away valuables in the safe when he heard the man murmur something. As Finnegan turned his head, a shot rang out, and the small caliber bullet pierced his forehead. Although not seriously wounded, the dealer played dead, and the gunman proceeded to steal around $60,000 worth of coins and other merchandise before escaping. So I believe he was the survivor that was able to describe the killer. At first, these execution-style murders were believed by locals to have been the results of the no-nonsense talking and occasionally outspoken shop owner had incurred the wrath of some disgruntled collector and paid for it with his life. He described the man as having a gap between his front teeth and a scar on his right hand. This story told by the customer was remarkably similar to the one told by a customer in a Kansas City murder several years previously. On March 12, 1988, Leroy Hoffman of Kansas City, Missouri, was killed and his coin shop was robbed of several $1,000s worth of coins. Hoffman had previously told his wife that a local farmer who had frequented his store had inquired about selling a large collection of coins. So that's how they started connecting the cases, which is really interesting. And it's surprising sometimes how police officers can't connect the cases, but considering when they're committed so far apart, it's hard to connect them because I think they were across states, seems like. It seemed the killer had a specific method of operation, which would prove to be the link between crimes. The suspect would go to a coin shop, often many times, where he would integrate himself with the owner, talking a lot and pretending to be a prospective buyer. He was, in fact, stalking his victims, familiarizing himself with their habits and routines, so they would become accustomed to seeing him. Then, one day, he would return to rob and shoot using a small caliber weapon, and always in the head. Which is just really creepy that he had, a kind of method, and it's like realizing how planned it was is the really creepy part. At the same time, Deputy Sheriff Pete Piccinni in Jefferson County, Washington, was the lead investigator working the unsolved case of the disappearance of Robert and Dagmar Linton. The couple from Stockton, California, went missing from their trailer while camping at a Washington state campground on the Olympic Peninsula on August 22, 1986. The transactions made by the killer using the Linton's credit cards allowed Piccinni to trace where the payments were being made across several states. In one particular instance, a large bearded white man with his right hand bandaged was seen using the Linton's credit card to purchase an expensive clarinet. That always surprises me. It's like, that credit cards can be tracked. In this case, I understand why he used the credit cards. And I'm glad he did, because that was how they were able to catch him, essentially. But it's like, credit cards can be tracked. You're literally pretty much carrying around a tracking device. So it's not smart to use your victims' credit cards. Police made an arrest on August 3rd, 1990. They were greeted by a burly outdoorsman, and Archer noticed the man had a Archer is one of the detectives, had a gap in his front teeth and a scar on his right hand, which was the description of the the murderer that was killing these shop owners and customers. One of the key points of evidence was inside his pocket was one of Kelly Finnegan's antique pocket watches. The man was eventually identified as 44-year-old Charles Thurman Sinclair, and was suspected in as many as 8 murders and 1 attempted murder. And Piccinni also suspected Sinclair of involvement in the Linton disappearances in August of 1986, which we just discussed, that couple that went missing while they went camping, as well as the rape of a real estate agent that same month, and the November 1987 kidnapping and murders of a vacationing Canadian couple, including the rape of the woman in that couple. Which, just the amount that this guy got away with is really disturbing. The police got a search warrant and found items that connected Sinclair to the murders. There were instruments for the creation of false identifications, piles of maps, C4 explosives, Claymore landmines, and various valuable and rare coins. And we came up with the clarinet, said Piccinni, purchased with the Linton credit card. Under the weight of this evidence, along with the scars on Sinclair's right hand, which matched the description of the man with his hand bandaged, Sinclair was held in prison on a $500,000 bond in Palmer, Alaska, while Montana authorities were seeking extradition. Montana authorities charged Sinclair with the murders of Charles Spabo and Catherine Newstrom and requested his extradition to stand trial. Utah authorities added charges of attempted criminal homicide and aggravated robbery for the attack on Kelly Figgin. Again, that last name, I'm not sure. Names are really difficult for me. At Legacy Rare Coins. However, while all this was being processed, he died of a heart failure on October 3rd, 1990. So just the amount of stuff that he got away with. He was murdering store clerks and customers. He was stealing. He murdered a few couples that went camping. He raped some of the women before murdering them. Just, it's really, really creepy. I know there are some true crime stuff, videos going around, and a lot of people were doing specifically Halloween ones. Like there's this case called the Candyman that this man poisoned his own child, by poisoning his candy, his Halloween candy. But I didn't want to do a specific Halloween one because I wanted to kind of branch out because I've never heard of this case. True crime fascinates me, and it also terrifies me at the same time. But I thought this was extremely interesting. If you want to read the entire article, and it's a very, very long, very well written article, I will link it down below. I'm sorry again for any background noise. I have no other option. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye.